we take a look at this SEC scheduling model, and it seems like it hit the brakes big time yesterday. That everyone's talking about this 3 and 6 model, this 1 and 7 model, where you're going to have one constant opponent on the other side with these traditional East and West SEC divisions that we've had, or the 3 and 6, because now Oklahoma and Texas are going to be coming in. Well, here we are, 24 hours later, they've hit the brakes, and it looks like they're going to keep everything at least status quo while Oklahoma and Texas come in. So at least start us off with this conversation, Leon. I know that progress and moving forward is inevitable. But do you hate the idea of maybe losing some of those big-time rivalries that we have had? I know you're not an SEC guy, but the SEC, we're talking about rich rivalries.
Yeah,
man.
well, first of all, I'm a traditionalist. I mean, I grew up watching those games. I may not be an SEC guy, but listen, I still watch those games. I watched the Alabama LSUs. I watched the Tennessee LSUs. I watched the Auburn Alabamas. I appreciated the level of competition in the games that I watched. So, yeah, I would definitely miss those games if they did something with them. If we didn't see them every year. Now, if they're not trying to get rid of them altogether, maybe they could do it every other year.
You're talking the rivalry
Yeah.
games. Or even to an extent the neutral site marquee games, the Florida State LSU, the Clemson Georgia. But Leon, you said this to us during the break. Here is the non-conference schedule, because it's an 8-game SEC schedule, for the reigning national champion Georgia Bulldogs. UT Martin, Ball State, UAB, and Georgia Tech.
What did you think of that when you read it off to us?
Layup. That's what I thought. NBA layups.
Oh,
but layups.
You do want to keep Georgia Tech in there. If we're talking about rivalries and everything, what is it, good old-fashioned hate?
Yeah, and that's just a great
yeah,
game
it
for
seems
a
like,
rivalry.
yes, they're walking all over them at this point, but you got to keep those type of games.
But then you have those 3 cupcake games. And
I
so
agree.
that's where if you move to a 9-game SEC schedule, that's where you're entering an area where you're going to have to say goodbye to one of those guaranteed dubs in favor of good old-fashioned hate.
Now, as much as I don't like the fact that Georgia got a bunch of layups to start the season against UT Martin and UAB and all that kind of stuff. All the small, now we forget the smaller schools. Where are they going to get this money if these big schools just drop?
Yeah, they do need it, and
they need the money.
I call them there's so many different levels of college football. You know it. You played at the highest level. But there is something to be said for Miami scheduling FAMU now and then. So Florida A&M can get some of the money into their football program.
Yeah.
But as viewers,
I
don't care about that.
Yeah, I totally
set
get
up a car wash.
Yeah, it's an ugly game. So
he's too hard, bro. He's terrible, boy. Set up a car wash.
UT Martin.
You're an elitist, bro.
Georgia,
You're an elitist.
I am. I understand
That's
UT
terrible.
Martin needs that check, but on my Saturday on the couch, I don't care about that.
But
First of all, that game is probably not going to be on TV anyway.
Right. Yeah. But I would much rather watch, Georgia versus Texas A&M or something.
And we, with some of the games that we have had, we have been spoiled because you can't help but want more of what you see that's good. And like we've mentioned with the LSU, FSU, those early season games that we have really, if you go back in time, whenever they made the 12th game, the thought was that a lot of them were going to have these marquee games. Well, they ended up adding a layup, as Leon describes it, instead of some of these marquee games. You've got to get to a point where you're keeping your in-state rivalry intact if you can, which is Georgia, Georgia Tech, Florida, Florida State, on and on and on. But welcoming Oklahoma and Texas in is going to screw up the model. They're not going to be able to play everybody, not going to be able to play each other all the time.
And yes, I see you Georgia fans on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Georgia and Oklahoma were supposed to play. Yeah, and you replaced it with, wait for it, isn't it Middle Tennessee State? I'm pretty sure that's who it
tough.
is. They are tough.
Yeah, they beat us.
Ask those Miami fans.
Yes.
Here, I'll give you this comparison as well. The Big Ten has moved to a 9-game conference slate. No, I am not going to bring up Iowa's schedule, rest assured. I'm bringing up Ohio State's schedule. They are playing in their 3 non-conference games. Youngstown State, layup. Western Kentucky, layup. And Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's a good one.
That's a good one.
Now,
yeah.
it'll come on and off the schedule because they put that schedule together. And, heck, we were looking at, who was it, Florida State and Georgia. They finally inked that contract. I don't know whether that's going to be in jeopardy.
That's supposed to be
or not.
2027.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't know whether that's going to be in jeopardy or not once this whole scheduling thing takes place.
Let's look at another Big Ten team. Penn State. There are 3 non-conference games. West Virginia, Big 12, Delaware, and UMass. So you still get your 2 cupcakes, but then you at least use that 3rd game if you do not have a rivalry you are trying to protect. You use it for a marquee standalone game that has the potential of being a national broadcast, which, wait for it, that one's on NBC, as is the Notre Dame-Ohio State game. So that's where I just look at it and quite frankly, if Billy Napier is going to walk around and say, scare money, don't make money, the rest of the SEC that is making money, sorry, Florida, you need to adopt that moniker.
Well,
you're making money, so don't be scared.
Well, and especially when you have a 12-game playoff, it will eliminate the idea, the mindset, that you probably played a lot of college football with it in the back of your head. If you lose one, you're done. If you lose one, you're done. And now that is not the case. Now, if you're going to have to play a large majority against your conference foes and step up in class against another Power 5 opponent once or twice outside of your conference schedule to be looked at by the committee as worthy of making it into the playoff.
Yeah, if you lose 2, you might still be in it.
Yes.
Depending on who you lose to.
Very possible.
You know, you lose. Yeah, back. One. It used to be one and done.
Oh, we're gonna have 3 lost teams.
Sure.
4 lost, maybe.
And that's okay.
4 loss?
It's
I hope
not
it's not
okay.
4 loss.
It's not okay with me, but
no, it's not
It's the
okay.
way
With
Well,
those-
who are those 3 losses to?
I don't care.
I do.
That was my number one
Yeah.
thing about the 12 teams. I don't want to go back to this, but
Right.
with 12 teams, we're going to be inviting a lot of trash in there
But here's
that
the
doesn't
thing:
deserve to
You
win
just
the
got
national
these-
title.
This is what the fan does, and you're just like me and probably a lot of other ones. We bitch and moan about the layups, so we don't want them. So then we want them to play the bigs, and then if they lose
If they
a
get
couple
beat
of
to
them,
the
then they're
bigs,
not going to get the
exactly.
playoff. Yeah,
Listen,
they're
Yes, that's
no.
college
So, JJ,
football.
if
the
you-
whole season is supposed to be a playoff.
hey,
That's
get-
what I love about it.
So-
Guess who got to the postseason last year right here in Duval? A 9-8 squad. That means they won one
Di-
more game than they lost. So
Totally,
this is-
totally
yeah,
different.
but I know
sport.
that's where we're
So
going.
are you
though.
suggesting, JJ,
I don't like that.
you would rather have a 12-0 Tulane, a 13-0 Tulane?
No, I never said that. I wouldn't want the
But
12-team playoff.
But they do. But they
Oh,
don't
okay,
have
so you're
3
just
losses.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think that's way too many teams. And
So-
if I did have to decide between a 12-0 Tulane and a 3-loss SEC team, I'll take the 3-loss SEC team
JJ,
every day.
If Miami goes 10-3 and is in the playoffs, you're all aboard.
Of course,
You'll be
but
happy. Yeah.
but I know that we're not going to win the national championship, and I know that we don't deserve to play for a national championship with 3 losses, Leon. Like you lost like 3
It's
games in your whole
happening, dude.
career.
Well, actually 4.
Okay. That's my point. Like
Yeah.
Georgia, how many losses does Georgia have over the last 3 years? Like 3?
Yeah, max.
Yeah.
max.
Like
And-
that. Those are the teams that deserve to play for titles, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and look, the expansion of the actual number of playoff teams is going to offer up a Cinderella in some form or fashion. And the Cinderella may be the group of 5, at least early on. It might be, but it probably will come in the form of a 3-loss team that gets hot at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm aboard the JJ train, to be honest, quite honest with you, because I mean, I'm sitting here. I won 3 national titles, and I played for 4. And not everybody's supposed to be able to sit at the table and eat at the national championship table.
Somebody's got to go home and cry.
Yeah, that's
Somebody has to go home and cry.
That's a privileged table. They should only be allotted to a certain few, and not many.
And I get that the NFL has a different model, but
Yes.
I don't love the fact that 14 out of 32 teams make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't love that.
Yeah, and they wanted to grow that bad boy because they're going to
It's money.
keep more. Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously the money will always rule, but they also keep more fan bases in. That's why I'm okay with the wild card in baseball. Now they don't need to
Right.
keep growing that bad boy, but they definitely have pulled more fan bases in for a bigger chunk of the season. And everyone says, well, this 12-team thing, at least for a while, they were thinking it's going to kill the regular season. No, it's not, man. It's just going to enhance and ramp up the
We'll see.
the opportunity that you can still play for a title well into November. I'm okay with that. That I dig. So we're going to find out.
I was hoping the music dropped right there, and that was the
Just
end of the
ended.
segment. I was like, and we're done.
I don't know I don't know if we're ever going to be done with the way the scheduling is going to go, at least during this offseason, because this is the classic kick the can down the road, and now they have used Greg Sankey and company with the SEC. They've used the idea that, all right, let's just welcome Oklahoma and Texas in next year. Let's figure out how to cause the least amount of change to our schedule, and then let's aggressively look at a new model. That's probably what they're going to do.
But I got to be honest with you, Texas versus Alabama in a game.
Yeah, but
I mean, it sounds marquee. Or Oklahoma and LSU. That sounds marquee. You know what I'm saying? I mean, those type of games, if I'm turning,
awesome.
I'm just saying, if I've turned the channel and I see Oklahoma LSU, I'm stopping.
Oh, you better believe
I'm
it.
stopping. Oklahoma. If I see Texas LSU, I'm stopping. I'm just saying, the name brand alone is going to make me want to stop the channel and say, hey, I got to check this out.
And you know what it does? It offers so many opportunities.
Yeah.
But it will make you say goodbye to Tennessee Vandy. It will.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is because progress is progress.
Georgia, Texas.
I wish we could say bye to Vandy in general. But
Anchored
apparently
down.
that's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Anchored
No,
down.
if the Big Ten's not going to ever say goodbye to Rutgers and Northwestern, you take your Vandy and you like it.
Yeah.
First of all, Vandy is your SAT scores. I mean,
Yeah, they are.
They raise everyone else.
They raise everybody else up. Hell, you got to
We're
keep
a
them on
proud
board.
conference when it comes
Who is
to
the
our
ACC?
Vandy graduation
I was
rate.
gonna say
Duke.
well, no, but Duke with Mike Elko won 10 games last year.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what were you going to say? I thought you meant like the smart school of the ACC.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
ask.
Duke is our what you call it, our grade point average.
Duke's like Ivy League in the South.
But now they're good.
Yeah, they are good. They
They've
They've
destroyed
always
it.
beat us the last
I was
5
gonna say
years
you
or
don't
so.
really have a cupcake outside of I guess the 2 Virginia schools that are rebuilding.
All right, so
We're the cupcake.
Yeah, exactly. We're the cream field frosting.
Someone on the text line was like, "Please, get to the comedy hour of Miami and Florida football."
Yeah.
We've arrived.
Yeah,
we have
exactly.
arrived.
Yes.
all right, so hit us with some of your thoughts because you might be a tried and true traditionalist, and you're like, to hell with this. I want to keep my Alabama, Tennessee, third Saturday in October. I totally get all of that, but these are the things that are at risk. If you wanted to grow to that 12-team playoff, if you wanted to see the bigs come into the SEC, that is what's going to happen. So hit us with that 641-1010, and we say thanks again to Dr. Snipper, Jacksonville Eye Center. Don't forget, log on drsnipper.com, see what they can do when it comes to making sure you see 2020, no matter how you need it. That's for sure. The outside of the SEC, there's still at least a little chatter that the Big 12 may be the team conference coming out with all the chatter that's going on with the ACC, all the chatter that's going on with the Big 12, that with the Pac-12. The Big 12 may end up coming out smelling like a rose when this is all said.
Isn't that wild? I mean, I feel like a year ago we were like, "Yeah, Brett Yormark, welcome to the job. You're about to get fired in a year."
Mhm.
And to the guy's credit, they're going to stick around.
Yeah.
I think that if anything, it's the ACC that's been put on notice. Which a year ago, sure, they were put on notice because the wolf in sheep's clothing of the Big Ten, yes, Kevin Warren, the former Big Ten commissioner, stabbed them and the rest of the alliance in the back. But if I'm the Big 12, I mean, a year ago, they were running scared.
Oh, they were.
Now I'm sitting back and saying, hey, we got our guy.
You know what did it, though, honestly? Getting UCF. That's really what did it. National champions.
And they're 3 wins a year, but they will still make the playoff, and that will upset one JJ LaSelva.